Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Drop Frames. It's the final in our E3 coverage as we talk about everything that's been announced. Also, we're going to be going over the Mario stuff, which we haven't had a chance to talk about. At least me and Co haven't. Dan and Waffle might have talked about it on their channels. But before we get to all the E3 stuff, let's introduce our guests. We've got Waffle and Dan from Nerd Fusion. How's it going? What was that face, Dan? What was that?
That was my high face.
That's your high face? Okay, you look really
Yeah,
confused for a second. I don't
my
know.
high. I just woke up from a nap face.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is that what you were
Yeah.
doing?
Okay. Did
Yeah,
you fall
well,
asleep because of all the games that are not out to play right now? You just can't wait? You want to get there
yeah,
faster?
I had to take a little bit of a nap because I'm so bored of the announcements.
So yeah, how is Nerd Fusion going? I feel like we had Bacon on like our second episode of Drop Frames to talk about Nerd Fusion like 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
I haven't talked to you guys since. You guys have been on obviously on the show, but I just haven't talked to you about Nerd Fusion. So how's it all going over there?
Good. We've over the past year kind of changed what it was. Like before, we were trying to do a bunch of group stuff and like all this like podcasts and things, but now we've sort of made it like a company that supports streamers behind the scenes. So like someone that's in the background that does our taxes, someone that does their business deals and arrangements, someone that edits our videos, and by sharing all these resources, we save money instead of doing it all separately.
Are you guys liking still going into an office? Is that still a thing that you're enjoying?
Hell yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
If some people like staying at home all day, but like for me, there were points where I was like, I wouldn't leave the house for like a week or two, and it just really wears on your mind, because since you work from home all the time, like you don't have a lot of reason to leave if you still have food in the fridge. So like I like being forced to get out of the house. It helps me, at least personally.
Waffle, what about you? Still enjoying it?
No, man. Yeah, the separation of like work and like my real life has really given me a good balance because I like back when I was in college and I was living in like a small ass apartment, I would literally live in my room. I wouldn't leave it sometimes for like weeks and weeks and weeks. So moving here, I mean, we talked about this before, but now that we've been like the update you after 2 years, the like when I'm working, I think about it and everything, right? But we put things in place where a lot of the things that we don't want to have to work on after hours, like contracts, finances, like a lot of the management stuff that really just we're entertainers. We're not like business people. At least most of us kind of like wear a lot of hats, but Dan and I are able to focus kind of on just making content, and we hired people that are better at doing those things than we are. It lets us be really efficient at things. So like, when we're done with work, I go home and I think about, instead of, oh, I got to do these emails, it's like, what am I going to make for dinner? What am I going to do tonight? Do I want to watch a movie? Want to go out? Blah, blah, blah. And it's made my life a lot, I don't know, like fuller, I would say. I'm able to enjoy things more, which is good. So it's been positive for sure.
Good. That's good. Dan, you're fixing to move too. Didn't you like move right next to Waffle and you didn't even know?
Yeah, it was so weird. There's this brand new building that was built, and like they're filling up all the apartments, and of all the free apartments, there were dozens and dozens of free apartments. Somehow I managed to pick the floor directly below Waffle and the apartment directly below his.
It's a nice apartment. It
Yeah,
really is.
I've never
I get
even
it.
been in his building before, and somehow I picked that room.
Yeah.
Like,
Nice. Worked out. When do you move?
Mm-hmm.
Are you dreading the move already? Didn't you say you have like all
Yeah.
month to move or something like that?
yeah, it's a problem. Like, I have too much time to move, so like the first 2 weeks I've been just like, oh well, I got a whole month to move all my stuff, so it's starting to pile up towards the end now.
Yeah.
Unrelated, I just bought bagpipes and tap dancing shoes.
Yeah, I started to
So-
say, Waffle, you're just going to
Right.
troll the fuck out of Dan now so
Yeah.
that he can't sleep. You're just going to play loud
I heard
music.
you were taking up clogging.
Yeah, yeah. He's got to become. He's
Hey.
training for Riverdance. They're still touring. They're still making money. Waffle's going to get in on that. It's going to be good. It's going to be good. Well, cool. I'm glad to hear everything's going well over there. You guys also just grabbed Lobos, right? He's part of the Nerd Fusion team. We had him on recently. He doesn't have any intention of moving out to the Seattle area proper, right? He's going to stay
Not
wherever
not
he's at.
really.
Austin,
At
maybe?
least not
Which is-
currently. But he's going to be a remote member for as long as he wants, really.
Cool. Is that kind of
We
the?
actually have a
Go
we actually
ahead.
have a member in Nerd Fusion who's skilled at games now, which is cool.
Is that going to be
don't know.
kind of the process moving forward if you guys do opt to add more people to it? if they want to stay wherever they can.
Yeah, that's something that we changed as part of when we restructured the company. Is being like we have a place here where people, if they want to move here, they can. They'll find an office and support stuff here. But if you want to stay where you are, you can, and we'll just do stuff from remote.
Cool. And you guys are actively. I saw you guys were hiring. I was on your website. You're hiring still maybe a video editor. Is that still a thing that you're looking for?
We just filled that position.
Just filled that position. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. So don't apply. Don't go to their site and apply.
It's in house too, which is the cool part about that. Like we have him. He's actually 2 doors down from Dan.
Nice.
So he does everything in house, which is great because we have like massive amount of files.
I find it much easier to yell at someone and they're right there in front of me.
Totally.
Instead of through emails.
Yeah, without a doubt. That makes sense. Well, cool. Enough business talk. Let's talk E3. Where do we even? I guess I'll just start. Me and Co kind of talked to death here on the show, but for you guys, Dan and Waffle, what did you think of the show as a whole? What did you think of E3 2017? Happy with it? Sad with it? Wish there was more? Where are you guys at with it?
It felt like this year a lot of companies were going to announce some stuff, some big stuff, but then they all at the last minute decided we're going to hold back our heavy hitters this year and save it for something else, like Gamescom or PlayStation has their PlayStation X thing. I feel like they're saving announcements to spread throughout the year, or like maybe there's just things got delayed or something. Like Bethesda's felt really short. Like 20 minutes was just cut off at the end or something. Like they were going to announce something, then they pulled out last second. I felt like that probably happened a lot this year. But overall, yeah, it was a very tempered E3. There wasn't a lot of big surprises. There's lots of good stuff that I'm super excited for, but not a lot of huge surprises.
Yeah, it definitely wasn't the E3 that or the last year's E3 or the year before, where Sony just kept dropping bombs every conference. Even their conference, I think it's safe to say, was lacking something. It didn't really have like a big thing in it for sure. Waffle, what about you? What'd you think of E3 2017 as a whole? Before we jump into the specifics.
So recently, I have discovered that there's other games out there besides Minecraft. In the last 4 or 5 months, I've been exploring them, and I've been having a blast doing a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, I literally went from 12,000 hours of Minecraft to let's play other stuff. So I would say it was better for me because I realized just how many games are out there I can experience, and different game types and genres. So I'm hyped for it because all the new games I talked about and everything. I have a full list here. I want to play them all. So as a gamer, and I would call me you know how they call the master race, PC master race? That's not a master race. The master race is having all the consoles and PC and that kind of stuff, because then you can play everything.
Right.
And that's what I want to do. There is definitely a lot of Resident Sleeper stuff, but there is a few gems in just about every conference that I'm totally hyped for. So I would say it was fine for me. It was good. I liked it.
Cool. Let's talk specifics here. We'll start and kind of work our way backwards. That Super Mario Odyssey trailer from Nintendo was kind of fucking weird. It was a weird ass trailer. It starts with this giant T-Rex, and then you notice that he's taken over because the T-Rex is Mario via Cappy the Hat. The official name of the hat is Cappy, by the way. I'm not making that up. What a fucking weird looking game this game is. I don't know how to describe it other than that. It looks cool. I'm definitely gonna play it, but it is a weird ass Mario game without a doubt.
Yeah, they've been making Mario games for over 30 years now, so they got to try some weird stuff here and there just to keep it fresh,
Yeah. It has in-game, you can spend coins or currency that you get from each level, which you can then buy costumes and things with on each level. Apparently the bad guys are evil wedding planners, and I'm not making that up because Bowser's trying to marry Peach. And they're planning the wedding, and that's who you're fighting in the game. That looks cool. That 2D thing in the middle of the level looks great. He takes over a human with his hat. I don't know what that says about Mario, but he's an evil motherfucker.
Yeah.
It's just a weird game. It looks bizarre. I haven't heard anyone playing it yet, though. I haven't heard their thoughts that actually sat down and played it at E3 yet, so I'm interested to read some of that stuff. But yeah, I don't know. What did you guys think of what you saw here?
Like I watched the I wasn't sure, but from the trailer, it just looks so odd. But like when I saw the gameplay afterwards, they had like 30 minutes of gameplay.
Yeah,
and it looks like it's gonna be a fun Mario game. With some extra weird stuff on the side, like the costumes and like the taking control of enemies with your hat mechanic, which is I wonder how that's gonna play out throughout the whole game. But I'm interested to try it because Mario 3D World was like really good, and I wasn't expecting it to be. So I think this one would be fun too.
Ko, I think for some reason I have this in my mind that you're the least Mario person on the show right now. What did you think of this? Did this do anything for you?
No, not at all.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so.
Not my jam. It looks like another Mario game. Just like Dan said, you know, they're trying to find the new mechanic, the new fun thing, the new gimmick to kind of pull people into the Mario universe. They've done it all, and they'll keep doing it all. And this is another example of that. It looks kind of fun. It looks kind of pretty cool. But to me, they're Mario games. You know, they're going to be at the core the kind of same game most of the time. So
Sure.
not that they aren't bad. It's just not really my jam.
Yeah, totally. Waffle, what about you? Are you a big Nintendo guy? I don't really know.
Hell yeah, man. So I like back in the day, one of my favorite games I played on the GameCube was Mario Sunshine. And for some reason, just watching the Odyssey trailer, it brings me back to like Sunshine and Galaxy, right? Which were like they had cool concepts and they were unique for that game, but it used it in the game really well and made it fun. So I'm hoping they do that as well in Odyssey because I want to check it out.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's addicting, just like those were.
Yeah, well, we'll have to see. It comes out this year. What's the date on that they said at the end?
October 27th, I think.
Yeah, October is like jam packed. I want to pull up a calendar later and look at that month because there's like a game every 4 days or some shit.
Yeah, October 27th has Wolfenstein, the new Wolfenstein, the new Assassin's Creed, and that Mario game all on the same day.
Jesus Christ! Holy fuck! Okay.
Yeah, it's jam packed November and October.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was that crazy. I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but that's a very unique taste in game, or I guess array of games coming out on the same day. It's going to be an interesting day on Twitch for sure. Some of the other stuff that Nintendo showed, they showed a JPEG of the new Metroid. That's it. They just announced the JPEG of a new Metroid. And
people went crazy.
People fucking lost their shit.
Like it's nuts.
Yeah,
I mean, that's the kind of thing I was looking for Metroid. So I mean,
yeah, I mean, I don't. It's a game of Metroid. That's all we know. Like, have they said specifics?
Are we talking about the 2D Metroid or the 3D Metroid?
I believe it's a 3D Metroid because it's Metroid Prime 4, right?
Okay, wait, I got it confused then. I thought you were talking about the 2D.
Damn, what were you saying?
The one on the Switch is going to be Metroid Prime 4. Yeah, and so far the only thing we've seen of it is that there's now a 4 there instead of a 3, and that's all we've seen.
Yeah, this was the
remind me
trailer.
of Microsoft's conference a couple years ago where they they would just announce the title of the game, but they didn't really show anything from it. They just went on to the next game.
Yeah, this was all we got right here. I thought it was going to be like a Super Smash Brothers 4 when I was watching this for the first time.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because they were like in space or whatever. Then they pulled out and just said that it's in development. But did they? Chat's saying they announced a 2D Metroid as well. That's a thing that exists because that wasn't in the main press conference, right?
Yeah, right afterwards on their little live stream thing, they announced the 3DS Metroid game. It's a remake of the first Game Boy one, I think. Is it
Samus Returns? Is that what this right here?
Yeah, that one. That's the one.
Okay. You said it's a remake of the original?
Yeah, remake with some new levels and stuff.
Okay. I'm not really a big handheld guy.
I don't know if this was the when they announced this game, they had one of the developers, I assume, who spoke so quick. I don't know if you saw it. It was on livestream fails for it. It was insane. It wasn't during this exact interview. It was nuts. It was like he was doing a rap god during the interview, and it was. I want to say it was during one of the Metroid games, and the host was just like, "Oh, wonderful."
He was. Was he American or Japanese? Was it? It was English.
I think it was English, but it sounded like a foreign language. It was impressive.
Yeah, I didn't even know this was a game, and we saw that a lot. That was kind of a trend now that I think Nintendo started 2 years ago when they stopped doing conferences. They would do these directs and then have the Treehouse streams. And now you see that everyone has these like post-conference game streams where they show more stuff, or even pre-conference game streams like you did at Sony.
Like Sony.
Where they were just announcing shit in that conference or in that like pre-conference show. And they didn't really tell anyone that was going to happen, but they announced other games, which we'll get to, like Knack 2, which I would expect to be in the main conference, but maybe they just know that that's not a super hype game and they left it the fuck out because people aren't excited. I didn't know this was a thing, though. I didn't know this was a thing, so that's cool. I'm not a big mobile gamer.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, their conference is only 25 minutes long, so I'm surprised they didn't add some of these onto it.
Yeah.
It's kind of odd.
Yeah, right. What else did they announce? They announced just these weird mainline, like Yoshi. They just announced a game called Yoshi, and there's nothing else. It's just Yoshi. I don't know if that's because the game's so early in development, they're not going to tie another name to it or what.
They actually showed gameplay of it, like very briefly. It reminded me a lot of the Yarn games, like Kirby Yarn and Yoshi Yarn, that style of game.
Yeah, yeah.
So very, very young audience geared.
Here's a little bit of that footage. Graphically, it looks like a fucking
looks
nice game. But yeah, it is. I think this is more geared at the younger audience, as well as Trihex, who fucking absolutely loves this game and probably lost his fucking shit when it was announced. I haven't seen the clips yet from a stream, but he probably went fucking insane when this was announced. So, and then the other one was another Kirby game, just called Kirby. That's all.
Yep.
They're just fucking. Yeah, this is Kirby. There's no names.
It's
to
better
it.
than like the new Kirby or like the newer Kirby, like they usually fucking do with their titles.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
maybe that's what we're gonna get for the next few games. I don't know.
Maybe. I mean, why didn't they just call Mario? Hey, it's the Mario game. It's just Mario. I don't know. Here's a little bit of the Kirby game for those interested in it. But apart from that, there was some Breath of the Wild DLC. One coming out at the end of this month, and I think the other one is DLC 2 is called The Champion's Ballad. They didn't really say what was in that.
Yeah, they showed the DLCs, but it's really hard to tell what was different or new was with the DLC. They kind of just glossed over it real fast.
Yeah, that one was super, super fast. But it looked cool. I don't know. I think, Dan, you're probably and maybe Waffle. I don't think Co's going to jump back in, but did the DLC that comes out I think this month, is it interesting to you? Is that something you're going to jump into, the hard mode stuff?
I don't know. I haven't really looked to see what it all includes. I don't know if it's worth a whole nother playthrough, but if you're planning on another playthrough of it, I guess hard mode would be like a nice challenge on top of, because the base game wasn't too hard. So
Are they actually going to like provide a real end boss fight, or is it still like whatever they have in there right now? Because
I don't know.
It's so underwhelming. It's almost not worth playing again.
Really? You thought the final boss of the game was underwhelming?
Oh, come on. Yeah, absolutely. It was a joke. It was like not even half a boss fight.
In terms of what? Difficulty, or just in terms of the whole thing?
It was just underwhelming. Like beating him felt so underwhelming. After that huge buildup and everything, and like, I mean, dude, some of those bosses were insane to take on for me. Like, I actually spent 2 hours in fucking Thunderblight. God damn it.
I remember everyone in my chat was spamming that because they wanted me to send you it because I like one.
You did it in one shot. I know. Fucking, I know. For 2 hours, I got JP did this in one shot. I know.
Yeah. That I was a little bit confused on what to do though, for sure, with that boss, if I remember correctly. That's one where you could like go up on the sides, right? And you could turn things.
Yeah, and you managed it just fine, apparently.
Yeah, that was fun.
Idiot.
Yeah.
What I get to play Minecraft.
Yeah, I don't know if that DLC. I'll be interested to see how many people go back and actually play that. But maybe there's enough of a dry spell in games that will be the only thing to play at the end of this month for a lot of people.
You just play DayZ.
Yeah. Go back to the great game that is DayZ. What else did they announce? They announced a new core Pokemon RPG, but they didn't say anything specific, right, Dan?
Yep. They did the exact same thing they did with Metroid Prime 4. We're making it. That's all you need to know.
Huh.
Probably come out next year.
Huh. Okay. Well, I'm not are any of you guys Pokemon guys? I'm not really a Pokemon guy.
I like Pokemon. I've always wanted a home console version, but it's been so long. I don't know, like if it'll still have that charm it did when I was younger, but we'll see.
Yeah, not really a Pokemon guy. What else was there? Fire Emblem Warriors. It's a Warriors game. If you know
Yeah,
what that is, doesn't really do much for me. Rocket League on the Switch. That game is literally on every platform now. Is that on mobile yet? Did they put that to like iPad shit? I don't think it's on mobiles, but it'll get there eventually. And that was it. I don't.
Oh.
Do
Do you want to include Starlink in this as well? Because that technically they showed that on the Switch.
What is Starlink? I don't even know what that is.
It was the game where you attach the figurine to your controller, and that's how you like play the game.
Right.
I think that was part of Ubisoft, but definitely
yeah.
they showed a Switch controller. So
yeah,
I don't know if you want to include that in like a hybrid of those two.
Yeah, I mean we could also talk about the Rabbids XCOM game as well, which I think was probably the game I'm most looking forward to out of all of E3. I think is probably that because it's fucking bizarre.
That one broadsided me. I was not expecting that to be as good as it looked.
Yeah, I think my love of XCOM really makes me super excited for that game because it does look like it looks like XCOM on acid is what it looks like. Just absolutely bizarre coming out of Ubisoft. But I'm super excited for that. Dan, it sounds like you are too.
Yeah, like I love XCOM. It's one of my favorite turn-based games, and just having more of that style of game makes me happy, regardless of what it is.
Totally. You look concerned when I said that was my most excited game. Are you not into it super much or that much or?
I just think there's a lot of really good titles this year at E3. I was just thinking that it's going to be cool, but I mean, it could be your game of the year, but there's a lot of really good stuff coming out here.
Sure.
That I'm pretty excited for this E3. So
for me, it's just the most unique. I think I don't know who allowed Rabbids and Mario to work together on an XCOM game. It just seems like a weird mashing of IPs in the weirdest type of game possible, and I just want to see what the fuck it's about. I want to see the ridiculousness that ensues from that. But we'll get to Ubisoft in just a bit. They did announce the Xenoblade Chronicles 2. I think, Dan, you might be the only other person that's played that besides me on the show. Are you interested in that at all?
I watched the gameplay of it, and if you're a fan of the first one, it looks like they've improved most everything, but it's not going to draw new people in. It's still kind of a slow-paced RPG.
Yeah. Did they change the character models at all from the original one in terms of like the shape and size? It looked different to me.
They do look. There's a bit of a style difference, and since the Switch is more powerful, they're a little more detailed. But yeah, it's definitely a bit different.
Yeah. This one it's not the sequel to the game that we played. It's not Xenoblade X, I think I forget the fucking weird name of that game that we played. But this is the sequel to the Wii title that came out like 4 or 5 years ago, which was fantastic. But
yeah, I was gonna say I actually heard a lot of really good things about the first one.
Yeah, it was really good. It was really, really good. I'll definitely be checking this out to see where it goes from here. But that was kind of it for Nintendo. They said they tried to, I think, pre E3 lessen the amount of hype going into it, saying like, we're only gonna show 25 minutes. Don't fucking freak out. Like, you're not gonna get much from us this year. And I think they did just that. But a lot of people are super excited about all the stuff they showed. Some people even said that they, quote, won E3 with all the stuff they showed. But those are just the Nintendo fanboys. So
I saw a lot of tweets about that too, actually.
That's true.
Yeah. But yeah, that was Nintendo. Then Sony. What did you guys think of Sony? That was kind of an underwhelming conference for me, and I think a lot of other people as well. Waffle
Good
Dan.
games, underwhelming conference. Yep.
Yeah, I would agree with that. Waffle Dan, what do you guys think?
Yeah, I don't know what's with the let's walk out on stage and press play on the video style that they tend to be going towards. Like Bethesda did the same thing. They walked out on stage, hit the play button, and come back an hour later. I don't know, it just feels less personal when it's that way.
They tried pretty hard to get like the practical effects on stage though. Well, like the fountain and like the people hanging from the ceiling and like
the intro was cool.
They tried to make it unique, but yeah.
Yeah. They announced so much stuff in the beginning. We were talking about that earlier in like the pre-show, or showed so much new stuff. there was there was Knack that was in there. They announced like the mobile platform or something. What the fuck was that called, Dan?
Oh, they're doing some sort of, I forget there's some name of it, but they're making like these interactive movies that you can play with your friends on your phone, like with your PlayStation 4. It's like the developers of Until Dawn are making this like
Playlink.
thriller. Yeah, PlayLink, where you buy the game, put it on your PS4, then your friends can get on their phone and play along together in the same room, and like you get like objectives, like someone's like trying to sabotage the rest of the party and stuff. It's interesting idea. I'll just have to see how it actually works. It's a weird concept.
Yeah, this is one of the games called That's You, which it looks like they're just going after the Jackbox party people.
Yeah.
In a way that I don't think is as clever, or the games don't look as interesting. I don't know. It's a weird thing. Here's them taking photos of Shu to put him in police riot gear for some reason, which is a really interesting way to take that. And that's what they do. They draw him with weird riot cop gear. I don't know. Looks like a weird game, and a weird thing to announce them putting stuff on the phones. But maybe they'll take it somewhere. Maybe they'll do like second screen bullshit with a lot of mainline games if they go down that path.
Yeah, I have a feeling this is going to be like their PlayStation Move stuff, where they have a few big games that at the first, and then they sort of just drop it all, and everyone forgets about it.
Yeah, most likely. I don't. What was there was one more game on this. What was it called? Hidden Agenda? Was that the other one?
Let me see. Until Dawn.
Sounds right.
Yeah, this is PlayLink.
The Inpatient looks interesting.
Is that on PlayLink, or is that just VR?
Hidden Agenda, yeah. Hidden Agenda is they're doing two games. Hidden Agenda is the one that's on Social Link.
Okay. And what is Hidden Agenda?
Thriller. It's a thriller game where there's like a murder going on, and like you're playing as a detective, and you're trying to on your phone you can look through your notebook, your clues, and then like you can vote on what to do, sort of like Heavy Rain, where everyone makes a vote for what action you're going to do, sort of thing.
Okay.
That does affect the story.
And this is from the creators of Until Dawn, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Does it take place in the same universe as Until Dawn, or is that the
I don't
VR
think
game?
So.
Okay.
I don't think it's just that they're that style of game where it's sort of like a thriller, and you make choices as you go.
Yeah. It looks like a social Until Dawn, basically, which is kind of cool. I wonder what that would play like on Twitch if you could have everyone in your chat join in to make decisions.
Yeah, I worry about the delay, but like this kind of technology would be good if people like focus it on Twitch and stuff, and we could do it with our audiences.
Yeah.
It'd be chaos, but it would be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know. In terms of the business side of that, I don't know if the revenue, the 30 people that would serve might not be worth the millions of dollars of development that it would take to put towards. But definitely want to see what that looks like when it comes out. And it's weird that like PlayLink was so, I guess, underrepresented in the main conference. Maybe is the best way to say that.
Yeah.
It's just it's weird. They split that conference up into two different things for sure. But let's talk main conference. Besides all the buffering, were you guys watching on YouTube or Twitch?
I had to switch to YouTube because the buffering was driving me nuts.
Yeah, I stayed true and didn't want to break agreement with Twitch, but it was fucking rough, man. Every goddamn 30 seconds, just a hard 5 or 6 second buffer.
It made watching it really difficult.
Yeah. We were talking about when we were covering it live. I think Ko was the one that said it first, how it kind of made the entire conference shittier with all the buffering, and it really took a lot of the hype away from everything that we were seeing, which is super unfortunate. If I was Sony, I'd be fucking furious at all the issues with that. Because there was like I think it was 900,000 or maybe 1 million people watching on Twitch, and they were all getting the buffering shit. That sucks, man. That sucks for your conference. But they did show some games. They started off with that weird Zatar music group sitting around with the waterfall behind them. to show the new Uncharted Lost Legacy game. Does that do anything for you guys? Are you super excited for that?
The thing that excited me the most was that waterfall was cool.
That waterfall was
that
some cool tech.
I was like, that's wicked. I want to see more of that.
Yeah. Not so much the game though. It looks like not main. It looks like Uncharted without Nathan Drake, which I feel like they're gonna have to do a lot to sell me. Yeah.
It'll be another good Uncharted game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and
Guaranteed.
even at its absolute best, it would probably still be another good Uncharted game.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty. It looks like a fucking gorgeous Uncharted game on the PS4.
They keep raising the bar. There's no question. Like every one of them makes progress, and I'm sure this one will too.
Totally.
And I love Claudia Black's voice, so that'll be nice to hear her because she plays Chloe, and I love her voice.
Gotcha. Yeah. My fear about that is that I'm not. Again, those two characters aren't Nathan Drake or whatever, or Sully, or like anyone from the main story. And maybe those characters will pop up for a brief part, but like, I guess what I'm saying is I don't know if I'm interested enough in these two characters to spend 10 hours with them.
The Nathan Drake story is supposed to be over with, so I think this is like an experiment to see, can we take one of the other characters and make them have the new games now?
Yeah. Apparently we just buffered, by the way, when we said... You can't say buffer, apparently, or it actually brings out the buffer god. So we're going to ban that word from the show. It's going to become PSVR, or it's going to become VR conversation on the show. We can't talk about it. Waffle, what about you? Does Uncharted series...
Yeah, man. I watched Dan play a lot of the Uncharted games. I played one of the original Uncharted way back a long time ago. But again, I haven't played any story games in a long time, and every story game I see from this whole E3 has me really excited because that's I'm not very skilled at games, but you don't have to be skilled to enjoy the story. So I don't know. Any story game that's listed here, I'm basically hyped for. I want to play it.
Cool.
Do you play on easy mode just to experience the story?
Don't tell anyone. Uncharted actually has a great easy mode because it basically, I think I actually played Uncharted on easy towards the end of it. Uncharted 4 on easy towards the end of it because you didn't even have to aim. You just held down on the left trigger and it would auto click to the next target and then you would just shoot. And it was great because I just got to the next cutscene that much faster.
Yeah. That stuff is great for making you feel like the character you're playing is a super badass at shooting. Where when you try it yourself and you're like, oh crap, missed. Oh damn it.
And then it's awkward because a game will sometimes delay for you to get the kill, and it's to do the thing that you should be skilled to do when it's a character should already know how to do it. I don't know. It's a weird balance.
Yeah. I didn't mind though. It was great just being able to go through 30 guys and just fucking hold down L2, R2, L2, R2, just nonstop, just murdering everyone. Instead of actually having aim,
right? Uncharted is a great. It's got a great story, and it's visually beautiful. But I don't think you need to be super skilled to play it. And
I mean, on the hardest setting, that game's pretty difficult.
Is it?
Code, didn't you play that on the hardest setting?
Yes.
There were challenging moments where you definitely died, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Lots of them.
Yeah, I remember that game being almost cheap. Definitely Uncharted 1. If you play Uncharted 1 on the hardest difficulty, it is fucking stupidly cheap.
I actually think I lowered the difficulty.
It
got to the point where it just wasn't fun.
I think you did, actually. I remember talking about that.
Yeah.
Insane on Uncharted is no joke. They go it's so hard at times that it just feels like they're cheating and they're shooting at you and hitting you when they shouldn't be able to, and you're just instantly dead a lot of the time.
Yeah.
Oh, God,
it's really frustrating.
Grenades.
Oh yeah. Oh my God.
I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah, I remember that.
It's every single soldier was personally trained by Kobe in perfect art of throwing and precision timing. It's ridiculous. I swear they even primed him. Oh yeah, terrible.
Yeah, that was. I think when I look at Uncharted, the worst part of Uncharted is the combat, and I think a lot of people have said that. So I'm wondering if they're going to tweak that game at all to work on the combat, or if it's literally just going to be more Uncharted. Because if it is, I'm going on easy. I'm going to see that story, and I'm going to hold down left trigger, right trigger, and just fucking murder everyone like a badass when it's the easiest thing in the world.
Sometimes that's really fun. In Titanfall 2, that section where you get the pistol and you're just like auto killing everything.
Oh yeah, the smart
That
pistol.
was
That was
so
pretty sick.
much fun. Oh my god.
Yeah.
One of the best parts of the game.
Yeah, I agree. That was a really good moment for sure, and it was a fun way to bring back the smart pistol into Titanfall 2. Because I don't think you got it anywhere else after that. I think it was like a one and done.
Yeah, it was like right before the final boss.
Yeah. The other game, or one of the other games they showed was Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wilds DLC. And I guess Dan as well. Waffle, did you check out Horizon Zero Dawn at all? Okay. Definitely worth it story-wise, I think. And gameplay-wise is actually pretty good as well. I don't know the story specifics of this, because when we were watching the trailer, it's actually the first time I've seen it not buffering. So if you do, Dan or Co, feel free to fill me in on that. But looks like more Uncharted. Looks cool. Do what? You're in the same boat as me? So
yeah, it's actually the first time I've seen it.
Okay. Dan, what about you? Do you know what's going on story-wise here?
I have no idea. Like, it just they didn't really it just showed a bunch of random scenes. They didn't really go into any like details on the story.
Okay.
But yeah, I have no idea. Looks like it's starring a new character though.
That guy right there?
Or actually, no, I see her. Never mind. I didn't see her when I first watched the trailer the first time.
I mean, it was buffering. It was hard to.
Probably just some side story. I don't know.
This might have to do with the clans that were kind of in the north and like the ice area that you didn't really get to see too much of in the game, apart from like a couple of quests up there, which is cool because those guys were interesting. The ones that were like fused with the machines or whatever.
Yeah.
Looks
I'm
cool.
all for more DLC for that game because I love the combat. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Beat me to it. I was going to say any Horizon is good Horizon at this point. Like, that game was fantastic. Still, it's my second game of the year right now. And yeah, it was amazing. Dude, funny enough, like, I remember people kept asking me, like, is your game of the year going to stay this way for the rest of the year? And now it's just like, nope.
Yeah, because there's so much more coming
Now that we
out,
know
right?
what's coming out after E3, oh my God, man.
Yeah.
It is going to be an insane end of year this year.
Totally. The one thing I hope, and I'm sure they're going to do it, I hope we get more big creatures to kill and also tame in that, because that's the best part of that game is just walking around and seeing the giant mecha alligators and fucking rock burrowers, which were the most annoying guys to fight in that game because they were so hard. Did you guys ever do that whatever hunt thing where you had to kill the 2 burrowers on that hill?
Yep.
I tried it for about an hour, and I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm going to go mainline story. Because it was so fucking hard. Those guys would just murder you. And I tried taming everything that was next to it. There was like 2 alligators, a bunch of fucking just random mobs that you would think would be able to kill one stupid burrower, and they just got murdered. Absolutely destroyed them. So
They're difficult, man.
Never killed those guys.
They're tough. Like, even if you know what you're doing, it's easy to mess up with them.
Yeah, I never killed those guys. Wolf, you need to play Horizon Zero Dawn. It's a good game.
Yeah, see, so everyone's saying, like, oh, Waffle, boring, Resident Sleeper. But you gotta realize there's like 3 months now till October. Probably more than that. A few more months, 3 or 4 months till October where there's no games coming out.
Totally.
And I've now pulled all these games I can play in those 4 months. So
Yeah.
I was just planning ahead.
It's going to be a fun few months for you, man. There's
Yeah.
been a lot
I
of
have
great
it.
ones
I
this
have it
year.
on the list. It should be fun to check out the DLC when it comes out too.
Yeah. That game, about 30 hours, like 30 to 40 hours of story, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it
so
depends on how much you focus on the main quest and how much side stuff you do.
Yeah, I think Co spent 60 or 70. You did 100%, right? Did you
Horizon?
Yeah. How long was that?
Yeah, I think it was like 30, 35, 40.
Oh,
it
okay.
wasn't.
It wasn't
yeah,
that
it
long.
that bad.
Okay, gotcha. Did you 100% that game, Dan?
No, I did most of the side quests, but I got tired of some of the hunts and I got frustrated.
Yeah, I mean the hunts were fucking real hard. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
It is definitely one of those games though where you get to a point, like if you just keep pushing through that stuff, you get to a point where your character is like ridiculous, especially after you get that mecha armor. At the
Yeah.
end. Oh, that thing is legit ridiculous.
Yeah, I got that right at the probably right before the final fight, and I wish I had gotten it earlier because I was able to destroy things with it, and it made it a lot more fun for sure. Next game they showed was Days Gone, which really feels like, hey, Last of Us 2 isn't here yet, but here's a game that's pretty much Last of Us. It didn't do much for me, but I was more interested in it after this trailer than I was last year's trailer where they just showed a horde of zombies.
I agree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. It didn't do much for me apart from that.
I think it looks pretty cool.
Gameplay wise or graphically?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I could totally see this gameplay being something fun. If like there's a lot of small events that happen with the gameplay, like that bear busting through and using the explosive and bringing those zombies in. There's a lot of really interesting things that I could see as long as they keep the environments interesting and the kind of mini events not too repeating, because I think that could absolutely kill a situation like this. It could be really fun if it kind of stays new. But I will say, in a game like this, the first time you come up on the camp, it looks exactly like the one before it, or is very similar. You know, if they do like only a few cool events and then just repeat them a bunch of times, that would get old super quick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Really hope they
Like
make
the third
it
time you
so-
see that, you know, or the fourth or fifth or sixth or seventh, it's kind of just like,
Right.
I really
right.
hope they make it where like your unique playstyle can come out and everyone can kind of do it a little differently. So it's not like, oh, there's one correct solution to like this area or this scenario, right? Where you know you don't have to put the explosives on this wall. You can do something else. Like I kind of feel like a lot of games can fall into that like kind of linear gameplay where there's a correct way of doing things, and yeah, you can do it in a different way, but it's not as efficient. But I hope the game allows you to do things efficiently, but in multiple different ways.
Totally.
So people that want to stealth can do it. People that want to kind of go loud can do it. You know, whatever it is, and because that's my like debacle with those kind of games. But
Yeah.
I think they're gonna nail it with this one, because from seeing the last year's trailer, seeing this one, they've improved quite a bit just on what they show.
I was reading, I think someone was doing like a hands-on playthrough of this, and he asked kind of what the end game looks like this, or the late game looks like this. And apparently the guy that was the like demo person that stands there and watches you play if you have questions, etc. At E3 was saying that the thing that they showed at last year's, or the last time we saw this with like the huge zombie horde, that was quote like towards the end of the game. So I guess it kind of builds to fighting like zombie hordes as you get later on in the game. That probably just means you get more in your inventory in terms of guns and different weapons and how to deal with them. So we'll see. I don't know. Do they have a launch date tied to this at all?
No, it's just I
Not
think
yet.
yeah, there was like nothing said about it at all.
Okay. We'll see. They could do a lot of cool things with the zombie stuff. Because you typically in zombie games you don't fight a horde, you fight like a zombie at a time. And it would be kind of cool, like if you fight all these guys at once and you can actually take them on, get to corridors and stuff like that. What did you think, Dan? I don't think we got your opinion on it yet.
Yeah, I think it looks cool. It reminded me heavily of Last of Us, the way they emphasize stealth and zombies. And it's cool to see that there's in The Last of Us, you fought humans way more than you fought zombies. So it'd be cool if that was more of the focus of this game, is more of the zombie stuff. And I liked how they used the zombies as a weapon, which would kind of remind me of The Walking Dead, where they do that sort of stuff.
Gotcha. To speak to everyone in chat saying December 29th is the placeholder date. That's because it's the last day of the year, and so Amazon just does their best way possible to make sure that it's coming out this year by putting it towards the last possible day that it could ship.
Yeah,
It's a
people always
terrible
do
day
that.
to ship, by the way.
Yeah, it's an awful
Like
day.
after Christmas, why would you? That's just a placeholder date. It's not
Yeah,
anything serious. They'll probably be early 2018 or later.
Yeah, I would agree. We'll probably see more of this at PlayStation Experience for sure. After Days Gone, they showed some more VR stuff, which really...
No.
You're excited
I'm
because show me or explain to me this VR stuff they showed. I'll get it on screen in just a second. How is it better with VR?
What?
The VR
'Cause
stuff
I
they showed
spent-
just looked so it didn't look like a VR game. It looked like a side scroller game that
Listen.
they forced VR on.
It's fishing. All right.
Oh well,
What
the
was it
fishing
called?
stuff is another thing
Fishing
for
fantasy. Monsters from the Deep. Is that what it was called?
sure. Yeah.
I'm hyped. All right.
Final
I'm hyped.
Fantasy Fish Team,
Oh, by the way, are you ever going to give that back?
as someone
Waffle?
tweeted at me.
I gotta play fishing with it, Dan. There's no other games out to play with it. All right. It's fine.
Did he steal your PSVR, Dan?
I totally did. 'Cause I wasn't
Yeah,
gonna buy
I've
one.
had no use for it for months, so it's fine. But yeah,
Oh my god.
that is mine.
Oh my god. Here's some footage of the VR fishing game, which
The inpatient is the one that made me go, "Ooh, that looks cool," but I hope it has a non-VR mode if possible.
yeah. I also wonder how long a lot of these VR experiences are. That's always when they do like the inpatient stuff. Like, is that like a 2 to 4 hour experience, or is that like a full like Resident Evil 7 type experience? Like, what does that actually mean when it comes to how long that game is or how long that experience is? You know? You can never really pull that because the trailers are always so short. And they don't give it much time because it's really fucking difficult to show a VR game at a conference like this.
That's true.
And then the stuff that I was talking about, Waffle, was like the side scroller stuff. Did you see any of that? Where
I didn't understand that at all, and I don't know if they showed it very well. Like when they were talking about the side scroller stuff, what was that one game with like it seemed like the robot, the hand came down? I forget what that was called.
Star something or other. I'll try to
I
find
was
the
very
footage real
confused.
quick.
I thought they actually forgot to remove the VR overlay from the bottom left corner, and it wasn't
Yeah.
a VR game.
I was confused. I was like, how's this VR? It's just a side scroller. Like,
Yeah.
How do you VR this? I don't understand.
Yeah.
Star Child, that's right.
Star Child. Okay. Yeah. Here, I thought this was the mouse game, which is called Moss. I thought that was Mouse Guard, which is like a pretty big IP when it comes to comics and
The
stuff.
sneaky one, right? The sneaky mouse game from a while
Yeah,
back.
yeah. And I was like, that looks super great. But this, I don't know what the like if it's literally solving puzzles so the mouse AI can move forward. I'm not. That just seems like a really weird application for VR. It looks really odd. Again, it's really hard to show this stuff in a conference setting, so I might have to watch someone tell me what the fuck this game is. But it was pretty, at least. I just don't know if I want to spend that much time in this world in VR. Was that it for? Yeah, they didn't really show. They showed the game that Dan was talking about. The hospital game, Inpatient or whatever. And that takes place in the Until Dawn world, right? That's the hospital that the main character in Until Dawn went to, is what I understood.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely it's from the same devs, and that's all I really know is that I don't know how connected it is. If it's like a whole separate experience, or if it ties into it or not.
Okay. Yeah, we'll have to see more from that stuff. Monster Hunter World was shown. Not a PS4 exclusive. It is coming out for Xbox One as well as a later date for PC. Any of you guys Monster Hunter fans?
Yeah, man.
Okay.
I
good.
like Monster Hunter.
I'm
Okay.
looking forward to it, and I've never played one.
Yeah. Monster Hunters are a different game than most.
Definitely.
Is maybe the
They're-
best way to say that.
They're definitely unique experiences.
Yeah.
But if you like that, if you play it and you end up liking it, you'll absolutely love the mechanics. They're so deep, and it's really fun to hunt and learn each monster's behavior.
Yeah. I'm just
Yeah,
excited.
you have it's so like I don't know, the boss fighting mechanic is very unique where they actually feel like really powerful.
Totally.
And you have to like find their weaknesses. You have to use like the proper weapon against them. Like I don't know, the fight can take 30+ minutes for a single boss.
even
and
longer
you
than
can-
that,
there-
man.
Yo, absolutely. And you can, and after like 30+ minutes, you can fail even.
Yeah,
And then you have to, like do it all over again. It's cool.
I'm just excited that it's a Monster Hunter game that doesn't look like fucking trash in terms of graphics. It's not a
thank God
3DS
it's not a
port
3DS
on
for
the
once.
fucking Wii U. Like, thank God. There was Monster Hunter Freedom, which I think was only out in like Japan and like one or other two places, but I don't think it ever came to the US. But it was like a PC Monster Hunter. But if you wanted to play it, there was no translation. There was no fan translation for it or anything, as far as I know. So I never got to it. But now that it's like a full graphical looking Monster Hunter, I'm super excited for that. And I can't wait to play it. Definitely going to be checking it out. Probably on consoles first and then later on PC because it looks cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, this is more fun with the multiplayer aspect of this game is why you play it. You get 4 or 5 people in there. I think 4 is the max.
They didn't show multiplayer at all.
They didn't. Yeah. Probably. I feel like this game is where they go for a new audience. Like Monster Hunters of late, the latest releases of Monster Hunter have always been kind of for that same audience. Now with the graphical bump, if you add too many players in there, you start to get really confused as to what the fuck's going on because there's so much going on in a lot of those fights that it's super hectic to watch. But yeah, I agree. I can't wait for this. I think a lot of people too, especially just in chat right now, are super excited for this game. It has a very niche audience, but that audience is quite large.
A lot of hype for this game.
Yeah. Looks good. Dan, what were we going to say?
This was the game that got me the most excited. Even the Shadow of Colossus remake is exciting, but like the Monster Hunter being on PC and looking fantastic was just like yes for me. Been waiting for it for years.
I mean, let's talk about that Shadow of Colossus re-release, like remaster thing.
Remaster.
It's yeah.
Graphically, it looks insanely.
It
better,
looks fantastic.
So, like it looks like they completely overhauled the entire thing. So it's not just
Also,
like a slight upgrade.
I recently played Shadows of the Colossus before Echo, and the controls were pretty rough. I could
Really?
certainly see, oh yeah, like getting on the horse and everything, and some of the moving around, and when you're grasping on them, some like I ran into all sorts of weird control stuff. Now I was playing through PS Now, like right when it came out, and a lot of people were telling me that was a big part of it. I even had like a little bit of input lag at one point. But in terms of the controls, I could totally see them making it a lot easier, kind of revamping it and making it smoother. That alone for me might be worth it. But
yeah, chat, making sure I'm reminded that it is a remake, not a remaster. But yeah, why not just make a second one? Do you think that this is them testing the waters and seeing if it's worth making a second one for business purposes, for sales purposes?
Well, there's one really important factor to consider here. Making something like this is exceptionally easier than making a new game. When you already have the entire blueprint of the game, all the game mechanics, all the boss design, all the graphics, and you basically have an entire game of concept art for your nice new game. Like this does not take nearly as much to do. So this may have been low-hanging fruit for them. They may have just had a team that wasn't doing anything, and they were like, hey, remaster that.
Yeah.
It's also, I mean, obviously it would have been a better time to come out right before Echo, but hey, better late than never.
Yeah.
So we're good.
Yeah. It does look good graphically though. Like those, even the original game for its time, I think was fucking amazing looking. And the re-release. What would you call the second one? The
HD remaster.
The HD remaster, yeah.
Yeah.
It still looked good. So this looks exceptional. And I'll probably play it. I never actually finished the first release or the second release of this game, so I'll definitely check it out. I think Waffle's probably in the same boat with that.
Heck yeah, man.
Yeah.
I never really beat. I definitely fought a few of the few that. Are they called Colossus? Like
Yeah.
I've definitely fought a few of them, but I've never beaten the game, and I'm happy I haven't because I can experience it now and probably appreciate it a lot more.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are definitely in that same camp for sure.
Is there a date for it?
Coming 2018. So who knows?
Add it to the list.
Yeah.
Right, good.
That'll probably be. I don't know if they would make that like a main launch in fall, unless games are really slim in 2018. I would expect like a summer or spring release for that, but it all just comes down to when the game's finished. They're going to ship it. After Shadow of the Colossus remake, Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. Did you guys check that out at all? Because they released a demo. It's a fighting game. We're not really fighting game players. It has a story mode demo. Did you guys check that out at all?
No.
So the only interesting thing for non-fighting game players about this is they've made the combat. I was watching Maximilian play it the other day, and to do like a 5 or 6 hit string combo, you literally just mash one button. Like you just keep pressing one button and it'll like launch the guy up into the air and then like hit him twice, and then you can change out characters and then keep doing that one button and it's another 5 or 6 string hit combo.
Is it like the easy mode?
Yeah, for casual players, I think that's really fucking cool because it'll make it seem like it'll do what fighting games do to people who are good with them, and it makes you feel like a fucking badass, even though you're just hitting one button.
Dan, it's a game you can actually play now.
Yeah. It's an approachable game from people outside the fighting game world, for sure. Within the fighting game community, I don't think that many people are happy. A lot of people are pissed off about it. I saw a lot of like Justin Wong and a couple other people trying to defend the game, saying it's super unique and whatnot. They've actually had some time on with it at E3. But yeah, the fact that you can just hit like a button and do a 5 or 6 hit combo, like I'm kind of interested in that. It means I'm not going to be complete ass at the game, and story mode might be more fun, which, let's be honest, that's the main attraction. That's the main sell that Marvel's going to push for that game, not the fighting other players. They're going to push the story mode so they can get as many people from their existing fan base to buy that game, right? I think that's cool. I think you could still download the demo. I don't think there was a time on it. So if you're interested to check that out, I believe it's on PS4. right now on the PSN. But yeah, I don't know. Looks like Marvel vs. Capcom. Apart from that, it has its subtle changes with like the Infinity Stones and whatnot. But I think we can just move right along to everyone's favorite Call of Duty World War II game.
Hell yeah.
Is that feigned excitement, Dan? Or are you actually excited for this?
I just find it funny that Battlefield releases Battlefield BF1, and now Call of Duty's like, well, yeah, well, we're 2, which is bigger than yours. You know?
Yeah. I don't know. It's Call of Duty. Like, I don't know what else to say about it. It's Call of Duty.
Like the 19th Call of Duty
Yeah.
as well.
It's the
Call of Duty's
19th.
like
Holy
as
shit!
bad as Mario.
I don't know.
but
That's
just,
a made up number. It's just like
they've
Oh,
done
okay.
so many Call of Duties now. Like it's just not exciting at all anymore. They'd have to do something completely nuts to be surprising anymore.
I will say, I've heard from a lot of COD fans that they're really excited that the game is returning to an era where guns have a lot more weight to them. Like I think it was as I think Jericho pointed out last time about the likes on YouTube and the kind of the comparisons there. It seems like a lot of COD fans are looking for just more realistic gunplay and are kind of opting out of like the lasers and jetpacks and stuff like that. So for them, which there seems to be a lot of them, they're probably pretty excited for this game coming out. And I mean, Sacriel seemed like he was excited about the way the weapons direction was going, and he's not normally a COD guy. So
Yeah.
I mean, I personally am not a historical shooter guy, so I mean, I will be probably hard passing on this, but I can completely understand why fans are probably getting pretty hyped for it.
Right. I found it interesting. I was reading a interview, and they said that this game will start with like in the single player, it'll start with like Normandy. Like you're going to be storming the beaches of Normandy in this game, and like Call of Duty 2 kind of already was it Call of Duty 2 or Call of Duty 3 that kind of already did that like 20 years ago or 15 years ago, right? I find it weird that that's where we're at in games right now, that Call of Duty is going back to a game it's already made in some ways, at least single player wise. Obviously, that's not the main focus now that franchise is so multiplayer focused. I guess the big thing that they're counting on is that it makes Call of Duty, I don't want to say cool again, but it gets their kind of what Koh was saying, it gets their fan base, their base excited for Call of Duty again. Because for a while there, it was all jetpacks and nonsense.
Now, here is one thing that's kind of interesting, though, is Call of Duty kind of started, as a modern / older shooter, and then moved through all the ages, and now we have reset back to World War II.
Right.
So, like, where do you really go from here? Do you go forward, or do you cater to the fact that your fans love the fact that you went back? Are we going to see like Call of Duty Primal? Like how far back are they going to take this, and how far back do the fans want them to take this?
Dude, if they did a Call of Duty and it was like dinosaurs and shit, I'd be hyped for that. I think that'd be pretty fucking cool. Like jump on this
ride a T-Rex
with the
shoot off the back. That'd be awesome.
That'd be
Call
dope.
of Duty Civil War.
Yeah, like
Got like muskets and shit. Takes like 2 minutes to load your gun.
Kind of cool. I'm just saying.
Stop moving! I'm gonna get you.
Two guys are standing in front of each other. Now you hold on. Rips it
I want
open,
to go back to like
pours it in.
sword
You
combat.
wait right there. Don't you move. Hold on.
Just everyone's got crossbows, going in the. Oh, hell yeah, man.
they could definitely go places with it. But you're right. I don't know, and this is kind of the same for Battlefield as well. And they've kind of gone with the like. I feel Battlefield is basically Battlefront with it's just a renamed Battlefield game at its heart. Like it's the Star Wars Battlefield. I don't know where you go. Like maybe they just start going fucking crazy and they do make like dinosaur T-Rex like primal style Call of Duty. I would probably be excited for that.
It's only a matter of time until we see Call of Duty Battle Royale featuring warriors from every day and age and their various armaments. I think that's an inevitable future this franchise is heading to, pulling in all of their different weapons from different areas into one game, and then doing some crazy Kingdom Hearts-esque "let's link them all" kind of thing.
Yeah, there's one through line through everything. Maybe. I was surprised that we didn't see any like PUBG AAA style games. Microsoft literally brought PUBG to the Xbox One. That was their answer to it. But there was no like
Give it a year.
PUBG game. You think it's still in development? You think we need another year, Waffle? I really think that's going to be the next thing. You're going to see a shit ton of like battle royale remakes, which is I think that's fine. I'm not upset by that at all.
Yeah.
Because those games are fantastic, and I think that's a new style of game that definitely could support a bunch of different games in it. But I don't know. Call of Duty's weird. It's a weird game. It's hard to get excited for it. But
this year is pirate games. Next year will be battle royale games.
Yeah. This year was pirate games. But we'll get to that in just a sec because we got to talk about the 30th release of Skyrim in Skyrim VR. I think that game is fucking available on every platform they can put it on now. I think it's finally done. There will be no more new releases of Skyrim after this. But maybe I'm wrong. That being said, I kind of want to play Skyrim VR. I kind of just want to see what that's like. I was thinking about downloading Skyrim the other day.
I kind of don't want to pay $60.
Is that how much it is? Is that what it's listed on Steam?
Yeah.
Not only that, but it's like I've bought Skyrim 3 times already.
I almost bought it a second time for the special edition or whatever on Steam the other day, but I didn't want to spend $60 on that game, so I didn't. But
the absolute worst part is that I'm probably going to spend $60 on it.
Yeah, they're going to get your money for that, and
I want to try it, man.
And Fallout.
I mean, it's that has the melee combat system that I don't even know if Fallout has, and that's the whole reason I wanted to play Fallout. So it's like, okay, I guess I'll play Skyrim for my melee system. Okay, fine.
Yeah,
you win this time, dicks.
Yeah, they didn't. Did they show? We were watching this trailer. Did they show how you move around? Is it the same like teleport move around stuff?
They didn't actually show too much of that. They did show the character, like you can see in some of these, the character is moving around a little bit, not just looking around. So there is some kind of local movement, but for all we know, it may be room scale. Well, can PlayStation do room scale? I don't
think so.
Oh, so I guess it would. Yeah, there'd have to be some kind of controller-based movement thing then. I don't think we really saw it. Although, did we just see it there?
Very careful, because I've played Minecraft VR where you move.
See right there, it's backing up.
Yeah, I don't know.
And it is like crazy motion sickness.
Really?
Like when everything around you moves but your body's not moving, it's bad. Like that's what makes you motion sickness. Like that's what gives you motion sickness. It's terrible. So I hope it's some sort of room scale or some. I don't know. Like it's got to be.
Well, the
teleport. Gotta do it right.
The teleport VR thing has kind of become I think the main way to move around in VR games.
Yeah, that's how they're doing movement in Doom, the Doom VR one.
Right.
Is they showed the teleport thing.
Right. That we'll get to that, but I'm not. That looks weird. I don't like it. I don't know. I want to see what that is, but I think that's a hard sell because I think, like Waffle said, if they don't do the movement right, you're going to see a lot of people getting sick from VR. How did Resident Evil handle it, Co?
Resident Evil they started the game with what's called sectional movement, from what I've read, and it basically means that you divvy up the movement into like north, and then it's like 30-degree increments, pretty much. So when you moved, your character would actually move in like hard turns, and then you could kind of move that. So your perspective was always kind of fixed unless you were actively moving it yourself. Now you could turn that off, where it was smooth movement, so where it would turn normally. That's the only time I've ever gotten nausea in VR. Only time ever was when I turned off incremental movement, because
Really?
It just, when you're slowly moving a direction and turning your head and you're not actually moving, it does something weird, man. You just you start getting kind of this like you're not standing on firm ground feeling. And at first I was like, I'm just gonna brute force this, that'll be fine. But after doing that for 6 hours on one of my sessions, at the end I was just like, the color was going from my face. I started getting that kind of lightheaded feeling. I had to stop. And the next day we were talking about it in chat, like why I felt like that, because I'd done a full stream with the incremental for 8 hours without any issues. And they suggested the incremental. I turned that back on. Next stream was fine. 8 hours, no problem. I think actually it was 6 hours, but yeah, a long time.
Huh. Yeah. Well, I'm sure they're going to try to figure out VR more and more. Now they've sold 1 million. They're ahead of every other platform, I think, in terms of sales when it comes to the
I
actual
didn't know they
headset.
sold that many.
Yeah, they announced,
that's a
I think,
lot.
the week before E3 that they had sold 1 million of PSVRs. So they're definitely the leader in that. Which makes sense. I mean, they're the cheapest, right? It's a $400 PS4 and a $400
Yeah.
headset. So
They made it semi-affordable, which is one of the biggest roadblocks to VR. Is that
totally, yeah. So we'll see. I just hope we don't get weird experiences like we were talking about earlier with Waffle, where it's like, here's a VR game where you literally are playing a 2D side scroller, but you're in VR and you can move your head around. It's fantastic. Like, I want to see,
weird.
I want to see more Resident Evil 7 style games, like full VR experiences where you're totally engrossed in that world.
Well, to be fair, whoever made that preview for that game really, I mean, that was like one of, like, I think, again, like Jericho said, that was one of the worst previews ever. Like, it was a VR side scroller where it's, of course, going to beg the question, why is this in VR? And it doesn't do a single thing to answer that.
Yeah.
So maybe it has really cool features that you can't do in that situation normally, and amazing things we're just never going to know about it, ever.
Yeah, that was really bad. Really bad. Right after that, all the VR stuff, they showed the God of War, which I think was the best thing to come out of the Sony conference. Going in, I kind of thought it was going to be, but it looks fucking cool. I've always been a fan of Norse mythology, and now that I get to play a God of War game who's all about mythology, and they're going into the pantheon that I fucking really enjoy, I can't wait for this game. It looks awesome. And I think the combat, too, a lot of people that didn't necessarily enjoy the God of War combat because it was the same thing basically through, the 3 games. The combat looks cool enough and looks flashy enough that hopefully it's not going to get boring. The 70th billionth time you kill a fucking mob, it might hopefully be unique still. They'll still do like flashy kill animations. But
yeah. I'm curious if he still has access to those the old weapons, the twirl around weapons, or if it's you're stuck with the axe and the shield.
Yeah,
they haven't really shown or explained that yet, but it'll be cool to see if you can still do that, like with a DLC or something.
Totally.
For sure. It does look like that axe is going to be a big part of the game, though. Like in almost every scene, it starts like either showing the axe or is pulling out the axe, and it is kind of wild to see a God of War without just like, hey, you beat this boss, cool weapon,
Yeah. Waffle, did you play the God of War games? If not, you should check out the remasters of that stuff. They're like, those games are great.
Little, but no, never beat them.
Yeah.
No, I agree. Totally agree.
They're fucking awesome games. I think what was that?
I'm hyped. Like just watching this, like the announcements and everything, seeing it from like the last E3 to this E3, like I want to play it so bad.
Yeah. I think this will be a huge system seller. You didn't play? Did you play God of War yet, or you said you're still planning a playthrough?
Not
right?
only did I not play God of War, but I'm actually in the midst of planning a God of War franchise playthrough.
Okay,
so I'm gonna try to. Yeah, I'm going to try to get at least the main ones done, but I'm still trying to figure out those and how I'm going to play them and stuff like that. So, but I'm probably going to start in a couple weeks from the looks of it, maybe around my birthday. So,
cool.
We'll have to see.
They're great games for sure. I thought this trailer highlighted everything that makes a God of War game a God of War game. Like amazing fucking visuals, like mobs being just split in half by your attacks, and then at the very end they showed the giant worm. That's like God of War in a nutshell. That's the formula for God of War.
God of War 3 had some amazing, like, giant boss fights.
Oh, totally. Dude, the
so memorable.
The end of God of War 2, the fight with I don't want to spoil it because Co's going to play it, but that fight at the end of God of War 2, fucking sick. That was sick as shit.
Sick.
You feel like a fucking badass walking into that fight without a doubt. It was great.
Oh, yeah.
It was great. Super stoked for God of War. Can't wait for that. It does say early 2018. They're not ready to pin a release date to it, but do you think they would release that game in the spring? That seems like a December game, like a November, like Black Friday type game.
End of February and March have been kind of a like second November for games recently. Like a lot of games come out in that time period frame.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see. Maybe we'll get a launch date at PlayStation Experience in December for that, I would think. What about Detroit Become Human? We weren't really super excited for it. Waffle, you're
really?
doing, yeah. What? Talk to me about
Dude,
it.
Heavy Rain was such a good game, and this is made by the same company that made Heavy Rain.
Right.
And I'm actually really hyped for it because I love I love story-based games. Like that's what I found is like the kind of games I like besides creative games. So I'm really hoping they do something not like Mass Effect, where it's a lot of choices, but it branches down to the same kind of ending. But it really allows you to go through a lot of different choices and affect the world in a lot of different ways. And depending on those choices, your ending will kind of be part of that. But no, dude, that looks actually really good. I love like cyberpunk kind of stuff and like androids and everything. That's really cool. So yeah.
Yeah, the gameplay just didn't do anything for me. I felt like I've played that game before. Story hopefully pulls me back in, but I don't know. The gameplay from those games is always, I guess I would describe it like passive. Like it's a very like slow moving, like take the world in, understand what's going on, like try to see what the characters are pushing through the story.
Yeah, Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls they're not really games. They're more like interactive movies, like, and I'm a sucker. I do love Heavy Rain. It's one of my favorite PS3 games. Even though I know it's a bad game, I still like it as an interactive movie. It's like a nice cheesy B movie that like you can choose what happens, and I find that really cool. But it's not for everyone, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll agree with Waffle and you with Heavy Rain. Like that house scene where you're being chased by the fucking crazy guy. That's a great scene. That's an amazing, and you can die and the game will continue right there, or you can live and the game will continue. Like it's a great scene. But this game didn't show me anything that was different from the Heavy Rain experience. And this is actually the first. They put up a live demo, which is about 20 minutes long, that I hadn't seen yet.
I haven't seen that either.
Yeah, he's like going through the house and doing detective shit, trying to figure out everything, looking for clues, which looks kind of cool. Is this doing it for you, Waffle? Is that the type of stuff you're looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you? So, did the showing during the conference do anything for you?
I'm still convinced that there's a big side of this game that we don't know yet. So, and I was I felt kind of weird only seeing that one side, but I think it looks interesting. I have not played Heavy Rain yet, and I kind of want to check that one out as well at some point. But yeah, I think it looks interesting. I think some of the gameplay elements look like they could be fun. I hope it's not too much kind of just leash you around a crime scene and you click on all the clickable things and then move on to the next one. Like I hope there's a little bit of branch or something to kind of mix it up a little bit. But I mean, it looks cool. And depending on how interesting the character perspectives are, it could be a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's what we're kind of seeing here. He's like reconstructing the crime scene and like the way that he died. I'm just watching this for the first time. That actually looks kind of cool. Like he's breaking down the sequence of events of what happened during this fight.
Yeah, the only bad thing is modern AAA games like mysteries and stuff like this are usually always so dumbed down that it's like so that anyone could solve it. You might be able to miss a clue or two, but I just worry that it's not going to have a lot of depth in the investigation part. Just like Heavy Rain is kind of light on that as well.
Yeah, maybe so. I mean, they got to make sure that everyone can complete the game, right? But we'll see. This is definitely free. Waffle, this is definitely a must play.
Yeah, like Dan said, it's an interactive movie, and I'm okay with that. Like that's like I kind of feel like playing some of the other like Metal Gear games. They just feel like interactive movies, but they're a great experience. So
sure.
I'm hyped.
Makes sense. And then we saw some Destiny 2 footage. We were talking about. I'm interested to hear what Dan and Waffle have to say about this. When we were watching it live and talking after the fact, I feel like because Destiny already had their event, the stuff that they showed during the PlayStation conference didn't do anything for me. Like it looked like it showed actually worse there than what they showed during their conference 2 weeks prior, 3 weeks prior.
Yeah, I was actually at the event, so I got to actually play it, and so playing it versus seeing trailers is totally different. So it was just like I tuned out during that. Like I've seen it, I played it, I know what it is.
Yeah.
And it plays great on PC, by the way. It's a fantastic PC port.
Yeah, you were playing at 4K 60, right?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the release date for PC that was shown later?
Yeah, that kind of sucks.
Is that a bummer?
I don't know why. Why does it have to come out a month and a week later? I don't understand.
Here's the kicker. You guys know that it comes out 2 days before TwitchCon, right? On PC.
After.
Is
We
it
had this
after?
discussion, JP. 2
It's
days
after. It's after. Sorry,
Yeah.
after. Yeah. Does that bum you out anymore?
No. After TwitchCon. You come
Why
back
would it?
riding the hype of TwitchCon.
Everyone's gonna be home.
Okay. All
Yeah.
right. I don't know.
Before I would be bummed, but yeah.
After's fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still on the fence on if I want to jump into that. I'll probably play it on PC, but like, that everyone says that, myself included. We're saying that now. The game's going to get closer and closer. You're going to play the beta over the summer. You're going to get super hyped for the game. It's going to come out for console, and then you're going to be like, oh, I'm jumping in. I'm buying it. Fuck it. And then you're going to buy a second copy when it comes out for PC, and they're going to get you twice. Like, that's
The beta's
probably what's going to happen.
It's going to be PvP, I guess, if I had a guess. And, I mean, Dan and I played the PvP and everything, and I think it's going to be fun, and it's going to, like, show you kind of, like, a style of the game, but it's not going to be, like, the normal gameplay that you get out of Destiny. Like, the story mode, and I think it's called strike mode, like,
Yeah.
going through dungeons and raids, stuff like that. That's, like, the core of the game, and I'm pretty sure the beta is not going to be that.
Totally, yeah. It'll be a piece, or not a piecemeal, but like a chunk of like, here's what you can do walking around the open world. Here's a strike or a dungeon, maybe 2, and then that's it.
Yeah. It does kind of suck that one of the dungeons is exclusive to PlayStation. It's like if you played WoW, Dead Mines is only playable on Mac now. Sorry.
I think they did the same thing, and the Destiny fans in chat will let us know. I think they did the same thing for Destiny 1, and then it eventually came out on every other platform, like at a later date.
Yeah, the little disclaimer at the bottom said exclusive until fall of 2018. So it's a like 1 year exclusive dungeon and stuff.
Okay. I don't know. If I'm going to play Destiny, I'm going to play it on PlayStation anyways if it's on a console. Especially
Really?
with that.
Okay.
Did you see that? I think it came out yesterday or maybe today. That even on the Xbox One X, it's still 30 FPS. Like they're not making it 60 FPS.
Yeah,
Seeing it at the actual event and playing it, going from console and then playing on PC was like a massive, massive difference. It's like I don't know why you don't experience it any other way besides on PC, but I mean, I guess the exclusivity is just what they're gonna do, just to kind of cater to Sony.
Yeah, I mean, Sony bought that stuff, right? Like Destiny's a fucking massive game, so if you can get more people to stay on your platform, then go to the competitor. Makes sense, but business-wise, it just kind of sucks for everyone wanted to play the game. It kind of decides the console for you, so to speak. But yeah, the stuff they showed at the PlayStation conference for that story trailer, I couldn't give 2 fucks about it. We already kind of knew everything Destiny-wise that we wanted to, aside from the release dates, and we got that afterwards. So didn't do too much. After that, the last thing they closed with was the Spider-Man stuff. What?
Buffer man.
You what?
It was so buffered, it kind of killed the hype for me. Going back and watching the same trailer with not buffering was great, but oh man.
That looked way better than I thought it was going to look. I was very worried it's just going to be like those Spider-Man games that have been coming out for the past like several years on PS3, like the movie-based ones, and then they're all kind of mediocre. But this actually looks pretty decent. It reminded me a lot of Batman: Arkham Asylum, but if Spider-Man was the Batman instead,
Totally.
like, which is not a bad thing at all. It's a great thing.
No, not those games were great, and the combat in those games was one of the best parts of those games in general. The story was awesome. Like everything about those games was fantastic. And if they throw Spider-Man into that same style, super into it. I think I agree with chat. There's a lot of QuickTime events.
Yeah, there were like 11 in that one cinematic scene.
Which is,
and not only that, but they're super basic QuickTime events, like the circle into the X and hit L2 R2 really quick or at the same time. Like I kind of wish that if we're going to go with it, like at least try to do something cool with it. I don't know. I hope that a lot of the game isn't like that.
Yeah. Hopefully that's just placeholder stuff and that gets ironed out later. But I don't hold too much hope that'll switch.
Here's a question I'll ask: would you rather, like, let me just fast forward to the sequence where he's like going between, swinging between the buildings, and he starts to like run up the crane with QuickTime events. And they pop out. Would you rather that was one fluid cutscene, or would you rather it still be QuickTime events? Like as a player, what would you prefer? Just to sit back and watch, or like somehow be involved.
It gives you that sense of like, ooh, I'm saving the village, but I'm saving it with a QuickTime event, so it's like,
Yeah,
it's
you're not.
a
I feel
mixed
like you're not
bag.
really doing anything.
See, like here it looks like he's running.
Yeah.
That may not be a quick time event. Also, like for instance, what would be cool is, Spider-Man's got those spider sense things, slow down time. So they could do all sorts of things with directional movement with that kind of thing. Like for instance, when that giant thing was going over his head, he didn't have to hit down. It went over his head and then he had to hit X to like burst out the window or something. Like they could tie in quick little QTEs or just make it more than just like one button every so often. Or, it seems like there's just better ways to make that more engaging.
Sure.
Definitely.
They'll probably work on that as well. These are the guys. Insomniac was the company that made Ratchet and Clank, right? I think that's
and
correct.
Infamous.
Yeah, and Infamous. Yeah. So they know what they're doing, kind of when it comes to action games, and definitely how to make a game look pretty. I thought this looked really, really good
It is
graphically.
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And the cutscenes are amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It looked really, really good. It was a great like demo basically, or first look, I think, at this. But I agree with you guys. I do want to see what the actual gameplay is. Like, do you just is it an open world where you go from like mob to mob or person to person, like advancing a quest, or is it like level based where you're walked to area to area? Like, I don't know if I saw any. I don't know how to take it from this, but they might have said something afterwards.
I'm pretty sure it's open world. It's they also made the PS2 Spider-Man game that everyone loves, the open world web slinging Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
So this is their sequel to that sort of, and so I've assumed since they've made Infamous so many times, they're used to making open cities and stuff. So I would assume you'd have that open world stuff filled
guys,
with little.
Chad is saying they didn't make Infamous, they made Resistance.
Resistance. Okay.
Yeah.
Which was
I did not realize that myself.
Yeah.
I hope it plays a bit like Batman games, like Arkham Asylum and stuff. Like the open
Totally.
world, you can kind of like there's totally the main storyline you can go after, but there's also a bunch of side stuff you can do. And like I just want to sling myself around the city and everything and just explore. Because Damon's right, like some of the original Spider-Man games are amazing to play.
They made Sunset Overdrive is also what chat said. So we'll just keep pulling from chat. It's great. Yeah, I want to see more of this game. They had the like hint at the end of that, or the tease right here with Miles Morales, who is for comic book nerds, he's like an alternate reality Spider-Man. And they said that the story's it's like their own story. It won't be a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe or anything like that. So want to see where they take that. There might be multiple Spider-Man that maybe you play or something like that. I don't know. A lot of ways they could do that. Spider-Man has a shit ton of lore to it when it comes to the comic books that they could all take into that. And if, like you guys said, if they go the Batman route, the Arkham Asylum route, you just have a shit ton of cool enemies in there that you all have to fight throughout like a 10 to 15 hour experience. I'm in. That looks great. So we'll see more of that most likely at PlayStation Experience. But that was all they showed. I was really expecting more, and I think a lot of other people were. I think Sony kind of shot themselves in the foot the past 2 years, showing so much and so many like brand new things that when it came to this year's conference, a lot of people left and thought it was somewhat lackluster.
Also, a lot of things people were hoping for that weren't there. No From Software, no surprise Kojima appearance, although he announced he wouldn't. No Red Dead Redemption 2, not really much for Last of Us 2. Like there were a lot of things that people, and no big new IPs. There were a few new IPs, but I think some people were hoping for some more. They've dropped some big bombs in the past E3s. We didn't really get one of those nukes this round. But I mean, they did have a very solid lineup. I think this is almost like a recharge year for them. Like they had a lot of stuff that's already been announced, a lot of big projects kind of rolling along. Don't have any big new things yet, or maybe just no big things that are ready to show.
Yeah.
And maybe we'll see like a big show next year from Sony.
Yeah.
And like on that, like we say this is an underwhelming Sony performance, but it still, in my opinion, was the best performance out of all the E3 ones.
Really?
So, I mean, it's the most games I
Really?
want to play out of any of the conferences come from
Okay.
Sony. So
All right.
Cool.
I don't know. I still think they did a good job, and maybe it wasn't as hype as last year, but I think they're saving a lot of stuff for PSX, honestly.
Yeah, and we were talking about that too. The world right now, when it comes to gaming, like everyone can put on their own conference. I mean, Destiny just did it 3 weeks ago. Like you said, they're going to save stuff for their own conference. Like E3 is becoming less and less of a. It's still a huge thing. It's still a big thing, right, for all these companies, but it's not the only big thing. It's not the only time of the year where you can show your own games, because you could fire up a fucking Twitch stream and put on a conference any day of the year, right? You can do it whenever you want.
Yeah.
So
and a lot of companies tend to be doing more and more announcements at Gamescom. Like since it's later in the year, like it's better for games coming out early in 2018.
Yeah.
So it seems like a lot of them are waiting for that to reveal there.
For sure. Dan, what do you think of the Sony conference as a whole?
I thought it was safe. It was cool to see some more gameplay of stuff that we've already heard, but it was just kind of missing that like wow game or damn like the previous games. They just set the bar. They set the bar so high with the previous conferences that we get our expectations so high, but they just couldn't quite deliver.
Yeah. A lot of people in chat are saying there's no Final Fantasy VII remake shown.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't think there was going to be. There was definitely hope.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, when's it coming out?
I don't know. I don't know if they've said or even hinted at a release date. But I do know that it's Square, and they're the same people that worked on Kingdom Hearts 3, and they've shown trailers for 4 years for Kingdom Hearts 3 or 3 years for Kingdom Hearts 3, and we're still getting trailers. And we're still getting another trailer later in July for Kingdom Hearts 3 at the D23 event for Disney. So,
well, Final Fantasy 15 actually released. So
that's true.
I hope that Kingdom Hearts 3 will as well.
You're right. That game did come out, so I guess there is hope for Kingdom Hearts 3. But yeah, I don't know. I'm surprised to hear Waffle say that was your favorite, because I think for me Ubisoft was, but it might just be like you said, these are the games you're interested in, and that totally makes sense. If you're interested in these games, I can see why.
I mean, Ubisoft definitely had a good conference. Just like the amount of games, I think, like the one game from Ubisoft for me, which we'll talk about like next, is like the addition of trailer. Right, they didn't really show anything besides that. So
yeah,
I think definitely if you're just going by volume of games, Sony.
Okay, all right. Well, we're due for a break. We still got Ubisoft to talk about. Still got Bethesda to talk shit about. Still got the PC gaming show to kind of go over. So they did show some new stuff there. The Microsoft conference, and then would love to hear pick Dan's brain on the Devolver conference, because I heard it blew your mind. So can't wait to hear about that. We're going to take a quick break, though. We'll have more Drop Frames coming up right after this. Don't go nowhere. We'll see you in just a bit.